Thank you, Nathan. I had forgotten to turn my mic on. I was apologizing for the state of my webcam because it's in direct sunlight is the problem. It should clear up in like a... Anyway, I really like the opening to this. I assume you can hear me now, though. Yes. I really like the opening to this game. I am on, and I look forward to... I like all of the characters, more or less, and I look forward to all of their routes. I am on the second of 5 routes. Oh, hooray! Hello! Tapawa Vulcan is rating me! Thank you so much! As though we did not plan this, but yes, I mean, still thank you so much. I really do appreciate that it is a thing that you've been doing. And everyone should also consider going to follow Tapawa Vulcan there. She is my friend, and yeah. Oh, my webcam. I can't just hold my hand up here the whole time, but hello! I'm having this dilemma with, the sun has shifted so that it's now directly in my webcam at 4, which did not used to be true. And I'm just sitting here, it's like, I could just play the first, like, 10 or 15 minutes of the game with my hand up like this, but hello! Thank you so much for rating and for being here and watching me. And in fact, incidentally, my sister is watching my stream. Yes, darn the rotation of the Earth, indeed. So, I mean, darn the angle of my house as relates to the rotation of the Earth as relates to the time of day I decided to stream. How about that? At least it's better than it was. Like, you can now see my face. Before, when there was, like, light shining directly in the camera, it was like a light echo. Anyway, so I will do a brief recap of... So we played the prologue. And the basic things to know about this game, for anyone who has not watched any of the previous parts. So the main character pictured down here is Lucette Riella Breton, I believe is her full name. She is... Oh, you just have a shining personality and the sun agrees. Aww, thank you. I like that. But yes, so our protagonist, Lucette Riella Breton, she is the crown princess of the Kingdom of Angiel. And the Kingdom of Angiel has some exciting fantasy politics going on where there are humans, witches, and fairies. And, like, the fairies are the keepers of the Crystal of Light, and the witches are the keepers of the Crystal of Darkness, which light is good happiness and good feelings, and darkness is sadness and bad feelings. But, you know, it's important to have both and to keep them in balance. Unfortunately, some human came through, wrote about a bunch of fairy tales, and then all the rest of the humans were like, I see, fairies are good, and witches are evil, and this led to witch hunts, and it was real bad, and witches were pretty understandably pissed off about that. Which led to a big war, and the witches, lost the war. And I mean, it is also implied that they got kind of, you know, they stopped keeping the Tenebrarum in balance, and it started kind of influencing them towards, well, fine, you want to call us villains? We'll be villains. So, some, you know, complicated, messy politics. But anyway, so, for unknown reasons, so Lucette, like I said, she's the crown princess, and she's regarded by many as being, like, very cold and standoffish, and they call her the ice princess and stuff. And as of as is established in the prologue at the, right before chapter 1, we're coming into chapter 1. She has just been cursed by a witch named Delora to go. It's a Cinderella themed curse. All of the curses are fairy tale themed, and instead of going rags to riches, she has been sent riches to rags. So now nobody remembers that she's the crown princess, and she is being forced to live as a peasant with, like, no one remembering who she is. And that's where we will be coming in on. And man, the summary is a lot shorter when I'm only summarizing the prologue. And I think I had started a new save. Yes, alright. So, Lucette has just woken up to the reality I guess actually this is day 2. So the first thing she did was she went to the palace and tried to appeal to her father, who obviously didn't remember her, and that was like, and she's like, cool, alright, guess I'm sleeping on the street, and that's what she did. She wasn't actually that calm about it, but that's what she wound up doing, because she just had nowhere else to go, so that's where we're coming in. Alright. When I open my eyes, I am still on the streets. I must have fallen asleep. Lucette, thinking to herself. But the nightmare continues. I am cold in my rags. I hold myself for warmth, willing some of the cold away, but fail. My feet are numb and in pain, caked in a dirt that I have gathered from walking barefoot around town. Yeah, she looks pretty upset. She is pretty upset. Yesterday she was, or I guess the day before yesterday, she was the crown princess of the kingdom. Now she is a peasant no one remembers, and she is suffering. Noblewoman A. Well, there's a frightful sight. Noblewoman B. Beggar probably thought she could try her luck with the nobility that live around here. Noblewoman A. Just look how ragged she looks. Lucette. Silence. Noblewoman A. Shocked. What are you looking at? Lucette. At 2 women that lack the basic manners of a noble upbringing. I mean, we would all be upset in her shoes, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, even if you take out the I was living in a palace and now I'm living on the streets, there is I was living in any kind of shelter and now I am living on the streets, and also nobody remembers who I am, including my own family. Like, pretty upsetting situation. Anyway, sleeping out in the dirt would make me sad. Exactly, see? Yep. Noblewoman B. Silence, girl! Do you know who you're talking to? Lucette. No, and I don't care. Noblewoman B. Shocked. What nerve! Noblewoman A. Let's just go. There's no reason to stoop to a commoner's level. Lucette, thinking to herself. I will remember you, and once I break this curse, I will make you regret your words. I have a tasty tea today. It is a Japanese green tea called Kuki-cha. I'm excited about it. Unfortunately, I forgot to refill my water, so I may have to take a brief break to do that at some point. I become acutely aware of the fact that I have not eaten anything for almost a day. I have been sitting here thinking on the new mess that is my life. Oh, I would be more upset if my husband didn't know me than my dad. Well, she's not married, so... Also, like, if my dad was the king, I might care more. I mean, fair. Yeah, I mean, but that said, just going back to, since this is my sister we're talking about, and therefore I have knowledge of things, wouldn't it be a harder call, like, okay, fine, if you don't care if Dad would forget you as much as if your husband forgot you? Like, wouldn't it be a harder call between your husband and our mother? Like, it would be for me. Having an on-call cook, then losing that is no fun. I mean, sure, yeah, like, there is a difference of degree there where she went from palace to streets. That's like that's a huge gap. Yes, it's true. So I mostly try to avoid names for people online, but Anna does not care, and so just so you know, Kristen, that gosh, I was gonna call you Nason, but that's fine. I'll go back to calling you Nason. That's Anna. And we've been doing tons of group streaming, so anyway. Also, she plays a lot of Animal Crossing, and I know that's a thing you also play, and eventually I will get Animal Crossing, and then we can all play together. Lucette, thinking to herself. But moping around will not break my curse. Crying will not help either. I should find that witch first, but how? I have no idea where she is. Out loud. Delora, thinking to herself. I swear I will make you regret doing this to me. When I find you, Silence. Out loud. I will find food first. Lucette, thinking to herself, is this all that the king thinks that I am worth? I mean, Lucette, to be fair, yes, he gave Lucette a pouch of money because she came and was like, Father, don't you remember me? And he's like, a poor beggar child, clearly slightly addled in the head. I will give you money, poor child. Oh, yes, also that is true. Like, although she's not been streaming recently, my sister does also stream, so you can also follow her. Alright, anyway. Man. Leave, girl. A dirty peasant like you has no place in this restaurant. Lucette. But why? I can pay. Man. Find another place. You're scaring away my customers. Lucette. Am I not a customer? Man. Shoo! There is nothing for you here. Lucette, thinking to herself. He just swatted me away like a fly. The nerve. Sensing that this will get me nowhere, I ball my hands into fists and walk away. I get the same treatment at the next 3 restaurants I try. I am treated as something less than dirt, like my money has no real value. Lucette, out loud. I am the crown princess. They have no right to turn me away like this. I have been eating stale bread, anything to keep the hunger at bay. The bread barely helps. Lucette. Silence. Okay, now I will catch up with chat. Just wanted to get a little bit of reading. Yes, okay. You guys are chatting amongst yourselves. I won't worry about it then. Lucette. Silence. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a small bakery. There are croissants on display that make my mouth water. Slowly, I begin to make my way over there. Lucette. Ow! My feet ache with every step. They look and feel even worse than before. Lucette, thinking to herself, if only I had enough coins for a pair of shoes. But food is more important. If the rags that I am wearing and the pouch of money are all that I have, then I need to prioritize. Lucette, thinking to herself, and I will die before I beg. Lucette, out loud. 2 croissants. Shop owner. You'll need to pay, girl. There are no free handouts here. I take a coin from my pouch and hand it to her. Lucette, out loud. This should be more than enough. The shop owner stares at the coin before reluctantly taking it. She hands me 2 croissants in a paper bag. Shop owner. I will not ask where you got those coins. Lucette. Silence. Are you implying that I stole them? Shop owner. How else would a beggar like you get that amount of coin? Now be off with you, child. I won't have you scaring away any other customers. Without another word, I turn and start to walk away from the woman. Lucette, thinking to herself. So this is the goodness of the people of Angiel. I take a bite out of one of the croissants, cringing a little at the dryness. Man A. Hey, girl! Lucette, thinking to herself. What now? Man B. We saw you at the shop. That shop. Want to share how you got your coins there? Lucette. Silence. Excuse me. Lucette. Shocked. Man A. Look at her, brushing us off like she's royalty or something. Lucette. Let me go. Man B. You ain't no better than us. Now be a good girl and hand over that pouch. The man on my left grabs at my pouch and attempts to yank it away from me. Lucette, thinking to herself, I will not let these brutes take anything from me. I elbow the man in the stomach, then aim a kick at the other man's shin. I have an opening and I take it. Man A. What? I pull myself free and begin to run as fast as I can. Man B. Hey! Lucette, thinking to herself, where do I go? I'm not familiar with the streets at all. Shin kicks, classic retort, indeed. It's highly likely that I'm just going to hit a dead end. Alright. Very first choice of the game. And I've checked both of these options, one of them on stream, another one off. So I know either of them, both choices are equally good, but one of them will give you points for one love interest, and the other one will give you points for another love interest. Not the part I would have kicked, but yeah, fair point. Maybe the shin was the only part she was sure she could reliably reach. Alright, so if I recall correctly, going left will get me points for Karma's route, which is good, because that's the route I plan to be on this time around. So, sorry. Basically, I don't actually pick a route until, like, chapter 2 or 3. So the prologue and chapter 1, possibly also chapter 2, are all on the common route by default, which means, and then your choices during that can help support different love interests, but there will be a point where I get to just pick one. Like, they give me the option to select all 5, and I think all 5 of them, one of them might be locked to begin with, but so during the common route, any of the love interests are an option, and so you get a little bit of time to interact with all of them. I think this is one of the only choices in the early game that actually will give you points towards a love interest, though, so... Anyway, so I'm going left. I cannot let the pain in my feet or my exhaustion stop me. Lucette, out loud. If I stop now, they will definitely catch me. Thinking to herself, and taking my coins might not be the worst thing they do. When does the common route become not common? Like I said, in either the end of chapter 2... I think it's the end of chapter 2. It's either the beginning or the end of chapter 2. Oh, wow. Sorry, it was just the vaccination history thing goes your entire life history of vaccinations. That's cool. Can you actually post the link again in my chat, just in case anyone is here that happens to be in Massachusetts? This is a... Yeah, I saw it before I left your chat, Anna, so I wasn't fully set up in my stream, so I saw that get posted and I clicked on it, and so I'm very excited about the existence of that site and appreciate the link. Thank you. Alright. Right, so Lucette is currently on the run. Silence. A dead end. Uh-oh. Man A. Nowhere left to run now, girl! Lucette, thinking to herself, what do I do? Man. Oh, who are you, gentlemen? This is definitely not how you treat a lady. Man A. Huh? Man B. Who's there? A shadow looms above us. Before I can blink, a person has jumped down in front of me. His body acts as a barrier between the two men and me. Aw, yeah. Lucette. Who are you? Man. Oh, me? Just a passing gentleman concerned about a damsel in distress. He turns to the men, his expression calm, his eyes flashing dangerously. Now, shall I teach you gentlemen a lesson? Man A. He's got a sword! Man B. What? Come back here, you coward! The two of us can take him! I think your friend has the right idea. I'm not the type to show mercy. Manby, shocked. This is way too much trouble for a little gold. Man. Are you all right, my lady? Waltz. You found her! Lucette, thinking to herself. The boy from yesterday? For context for anyone who didn't watch the prologue, she has already run into Waltz. She went into town with her stepsister in the previous chapter and saw him doing a street performance. And he seemed like he recognized her. Man, a little slow, aren't you, kid? Waltz. Don't call me that. Lucette, thinking to herself. These two know each other? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel ill. My head is pounding and my feet feel simultaneously like they are frozen and on fire. My stomach rumbles, the hunger coming back with a vengeance. Oh, fair. You will have to skedaddle at 5. Well, we'll see if I can get through at least most of the chapter by then. Because it takes me like hour and a half to get through each chapter, so. My stomach rumbles, the hunger coming back with a vengeance. Lucette, thinking to herself. My body feels light. Man. Princess! Waltz. Princess! Waltz. Lady Parfait will be able to help her. Man. You're right. We need to move now before anyone else sees us. Waltz. Yeah. I keep reading it as man, but we know that's Karma, so... Karma. Hang in there, princess. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. Everything is fading. Oh, you have to skedaddle now, but fun to watch. Thank you so much for coming to watch me. And remember, you can always, if you want to follow the story, you can always go check out my VODs. I leave them up on Twitch as long as Twitch will keep them up. And I also have all of my past all of my past videos go up on my YouTube channel. So if you wanted to watch like Rod's Route, that's all up there. So, but thank you for watching. Lucette, a dream? Yes, and here we have, once again, oh, let me just turn on my light. I'm realizing that now that the sunlight is no longer streaming in my webcam, it's kind of dim in here. So yes, Lucette, at the end of many of the early chapters, has these flashbacks about her mother, and her mother was real emotionally abusive and manipulative, so content warning for emotionally manipulative parent. Mother. What is that in your hands, Lucette? Young Lucette. It was hurt. I just wanted to help it, but it died. It's all my fault. Mother. It is not your fault, my love. It died because it was weak. Young Lucette. But... Mother. This is the world, Lucette. Only the strong survive. The weak get cast aside to die. You are not weak. You are strong, my crown princess, and you do not cry. Now wipe your tears. I don't want to see you cry again. Do you understand? I know I literally already put the warning, but oh, that one just makes me so uncomfortable. Like telling your tiny child, like, you are not allowed to cry. I mean, I am not a fan of people not being allowed to cry as a concept in general. I need to come watch this later. It looks like not something I can watch with Small Bean in the room. Oh, yeah. Some of it is fine, but occasionally you get scenes like this that are, yeah, no. Like, especially these flashback scenes with the, like, this sort of paper background, are all of her having memories of her emotionally abusive mother, and that's not a thing you probably want a kid to be listening to. Some of this is a little content warning me, and yeah, I will, like, I always do try to, like, comment on the content warnings, but, like, when I know they're coming, but, it's not that dark of a game. overall, but there's a few parts of it that are really, like, not great. Like this, like the mother telling her when she's little that she's not allowed to cry. That's messed up, TM. Oh yeah. But also thank you so much for, like, checking in and, like, and for following and such. So if you're still here, I hope you will. Oh, and you know what? If you watch this later, you will still hear this. So thank you so much. And like I said, if you want to go back and watch the first route that I played, Rod's route, that's all up on my YouTube channel, and I am on, and the prologue is obviously still up on Twitch because that'll be there for a while, as a VOD. So, and I will put it up on my YouTube, but I think I haven't gotten that one. I'm a little behind on uploading my VODs. So anyway, sorry, little self-promo, over for now. Back to the crappy scene with her mother. Mother. Now wipe your tears. I don't want to see you cry again. Do you understand? Young Lucette. Yes. Mother. Now get rid of that thing and wash your hands. Young Lucette. Silence. Mother. Did you not hear me, child? Young Lucette. Yes, Mother. I feel like that one was one of the worst, also, of the flashbacks to her mother. That was the one where I was really like, oh, crap. Like, I mean, the one... I know there was one for the prologue as well, and I remember a couple of the other scenes, but that was one of the ones where I'm like, yikes. I think the prologue one had her mother doing the, I am the only one who loves you, Lucette, which is massive red flags and bad vibes. And then there's some other ones and where she is, like, just very harsh and very strict. And then that one is the one where it's like, crying is for the weak. And I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, that's good to know, yeah. So after we find out the deal with her mother in chapter 6, I think these flashbacks stop. But for the first 4 or 5 chapters, every chapter ends with a flashback, and they are not great, but like I said, I think that one might be one of the worst. Anyway, now Lucette is awake. Lucette. Silence. Girl. Oh, you're awake! Lucette. Where am I? Girl. Lucette. This isn't my room. Lucette. Shocked. My hand flies to my chest, where the little glass slipper hangs from my neck. Lucette, thinking to herself. Still here. Girl. Are you okay, miss? Lucette, thinking to herself. This girl is the maid that tore Delora's dress. The one I fired for her clumsiness. For context, tore Delora, the witch who cursed her, spent a year posing as a doll in her collection. And so this maid ripped Delora's dress when Delora was a doll. And then Lucette fired her for being clumsy enough to rip the doll's dress. Girl. Miss? Lucette, thinking to herself. To think that I would meet her again here, like this. Silence. Girl. Lucette, out loud. Leave me alone. Girl. Silence. Lucette. Silence. Girl. Right, of course. Here's some salve I made for you. It'll help with the pain. Lucette. Now what? Delora. Haven't thought at all, have you, Ice Princess? Lucette. You! Suddenly, there she is. Delora stands before me with a snide smile, looking happy with herself. Lucette, thinking to herself. She is the cause of everything I have been through. All the pain, heartache, and hunger. It is her fault. I try to stand, thinking to give the witch a piece of my mind, but as soon as my feet touch the floor, pain shoots up my legs. I end up falling back to the bed. Lucette. Ow! Delora. You should be more grateful to the girl you just scared away. She's been taking care of you for the past 2 days. Lucette. 2 days? Thinking to herself. I've been passed out for 2 days? I am suddenly vibrating with anger. Lucette, out loud. Remove the curse. Now. Delora. Ha! Do you think you can just command me to remove the curse in your best princess voice? Lucette. What do you want? Gold? Delora. What I want is worth more than all the gold you could summon in Angiel, princess. Besides, haven't you read your fairy tales? The caster cannot take a curse back. You need to focus on breaking the curse yourself if you want your life back. Lucette, out loud. Mother burned the books before I could read more than 1 or 2 of them. Thinking to herself. I do not think either involved curses, just genies and trading away your voice for legs. That one kind of... Wait, that implies that she did read The Little Mermaid a long time ago. You know, we're gonna ignore that. Continuity errors, just ignore. Small continuity errors. Lady. Ah, it's good that you're awake, princess. Doesn't it, right? Yes, exactly. Like, maybe she was really small and she just doesn't remember it. Delora. Parfait, should you really be up and about? Oh, by the way, I don't think this came up before, since you had started watching, at least Anna, but I ship these two so much. Delora and Parfait. I ship them a lot. I also, at the time I first was playing, when the first time I played this chapter, I was still watching Adventure Time with friends, and I was like, Bubblegum Marceline? I had wondered who the heck Parfait was. Oh yeah, she's a fairy. I mean, we're about to get the proper introduction. And she also, well, we're about to get her proper introduction, so I will continue reading. Delora. Parfait, should you really be up and about? Parfait. Don't fuss, I'm feeling much better. Lucette. Are you a witch as well? Parfait. Oh no, my name is Parfait and I am a fairy. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. A witch and a fairy in one room? Being friendly with one another? Impossible. Delora. Oh, look at her face! You weren't expecting that at all, were you, princess? Lucette. What is going on? Parfait. I'm sure you have many questions, princess. Lucette. How do you know I am the princess? Delora. Don't be silly. She's a fairy. Of course she knows. Parfait. I promise we'll do our best to answer your questions. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself, I don't even know where to start. Parfait. What would you like to know? I will go through all of the questions. So 1. Why was I cursed? Delora. Seriously? You're really going to ask that? Lucette. I wouldn't have asked if I knew the answer. Delora. You have such a temper on you. Very well. This one's got a simple answer. It's because you're a cold-hearted, cruel, wicked princess who deserves to be punished. Parfait. Delora. A curse is the only way to force you to change your horrid ways. Parfait. Delora, you could have put that more nicely. I do agree with Parfait. Like, sure, Lucette was in a hugely problematic place, mindset, and she was in the habit of treating people terribly. But, like, Delora was with her pretending to be a doll for, like, a year, so she definitely saw all of Lucette's inner thoughts. Now, of course, there's also some stuff later that implies that Delora cares about her a lot more than she's willing to let on. So there's some argument to be made here that, like, yeah, she's a brat, but she's not that bad, exactly. There's some argument to be made that Delora is kind of tough-loving it up here, like, trying to be, like, you know, giving her real talk and shocking her into taking it seriously more than she is really meaning that to the extent that she said it, but it's still a little, like, dang, harsh. Delora. I'm pretty sure I was already being nice. Lucette. Change? Why do I need to change? Delora. Are you completely unaware of how heartless you are to other people? The coldness you show to your stepfamily and your father? Parfait. The way you treat Princess Emmeline. Lucette. Why would they need to be treated any differently? Yeah, maybe, but like, yeah, no, 100%. Like, Delora is way disproportionately harsh on Lucette, especially in the beginning. And it's like, geez, okay, I get why you did this curse because you needed to do something, you didn't have a lot of time and you needed to do something to sort of shock her into a better path, but like, harsh. Delora. You need to prove that you have some goodness in you, princess. Some smidge of kindness. Lucette. Why? People only show you kindness when they want something from you. The instant they get what they want, they'll just throw you away. And, like, Lucette says things like that, and it's like you can hear her mother's voice, right? Like, I mean, metaphorically, like, that is almost certainly something she's parroting word for word from her mother. Parfait. Silence. What else would you like to know? How do I break the curse? Yes, but she also believes it. Yeah, and no, 100%. And I don't think that, yeah, that's the entire problem. Like, she believes all that stuff that her mother told her. So I don't think it was bad to curse her. I just think, like, Delora could have a little bit of freaking sympathy just on the base of the fact that she saw, like, you know, Lucette only ever confided in her dolls, so Delora dang well saw all the times that Lucette was, like, struggling and sad. And so I think that Delora knew that she had the capacity and just didn't know how to draw that capacity out of her and get her to, like, learn the life lessons they needed her to learn. Other than something really drastic like the curse. Right, so I believe I asked, how do I break the curse? Delora. The necklace you've got is one of Cinderella's glass slippers. To break the curse, you must get the second slipper. Complete the pair. Lucette. And how do I do that? Parfait. By doing 3 good deeds. Lucette. What? Delora. It's a very easy thing to do. At least, for someone who knows how to be good. Lucette, thinking to herself. 3 good deeds? What does that even mean? I wouldn't even know where to start. Parfait. Take heart, princess. Goodness is innate in everyone. Delora. Are you sure that's the case with this one? Parfait. Delora, you are not helping. Delora. I'm a witch, and I think I have more goodness in my big toe than she has in her entire body. Parfait. Now you're just being mean. Okay, yeah, no, I forgot. The first time I played this, I was frustrated with Delora, because, like, yeah. I am watching this again, and I'm continuing to be frustrated with Delora, because it's like, okay, yes, Delora also had a front row seat to all of Lucette's worst behaviors, but, like, yeah, like, Parfait's not wrong, now you're just being mean. Parfait. For every good deed you accomplish, you will get a piece of the glass slipper. When you've gotten all 3, you'll complete the pair and the curse will break. Simple. Delora. I suggest you start by polishing that attitude of yours. Parfait. What else would you like to know? What happens if I don't break the curse? Delora. I think you know the answer to that one already, princess. Lucette. Silence. I mean, I guess the implication is that if she doesn't... I mean, like, it's a fair question, right? Because some curses have, like, terrible consequences if you don't find a way to break them. See also Rod's Root. But in this case, I think it is pretty self-evident, which is that the curse will just persist indefinitely until she breaks it. And it also is fair, like, Delora's curse has cursed her to try and teach her a life lesson, not to make her suffer, so it makes sense that Delora would place a curse that didn't have some horrible consequence, besides you continue being cursed. Why are you two working together? Parfait. To answer that, we'll have to give you a bit of a history lesson. Delora. Oh, I've got this. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there were 2 crystals. Parfait. Dramatics aside, there is one crystal in the kingdom called the Crystallum Lucis. It is powered by happiness and love. The other is the Crystallum Tenebrarum, powered by fear and anger. The strongest of the witches is the Tenebrarum bearer. The strongest of the fairies is the Lucis bearer. Delora. Parfait is the Lucis bearer. I take in Parfait's frail and sickly appearance. Lucette, thinking to herself, she is the strongest fairy? Parfait. The Great War greatly damaged me. My powers are a fraction of what they used to be. And with no child, I've had no successor to my burden. Lucette. What does a bearer do? Delora. The bearers regulate the energy of the crystals and keep the balance between darkness and light. Parfait. For centuries, the fairies and witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. Delora. Until a certain human decided to be a pest. Lucette. Who was he? Parfait. I love this name. Parfait. I knew him as Hans Gabriel Grimm. He wrote the fairy tales. Hans Christian Andersen, Brothers Grimm, and I feel like at some point I knew what the Gabriels was from, but I don't off the top of my head recall. Delora. And he started the feud between the witches and the fairies in the process. Lucette. How could a single person have so much power? Parfait. It was the power of his words. In Grimm's stories, the witches were always evil. The humans naturally grew to fear and hate them. They began to hunt them. Lucette. Didn't the witches fight back? Delora. We aren't allowed to use our powers to cause harm. But that all changed when the Tenebrarum bearer decided revenge was more important than our promise. Parfait. The witches took over the kingdom. They created the fairy tale curse to spread even more sadness and anger, to fill the human heart with negative emotions. All to fuel the power of the Tenebrarum. The delicate balance of harmony between the crystals was broken. No reference to Charles Perrault. What did Charles Perrault write? Like, what famous one? Or what? Gabrielle Suzanne Barbeau de Villeneuve was a French author influenced by Madame Delnoy, various writers, and was particularly... Oh, Beauty and the Beast, which is the oldest known variant of the fairy tale beauty. Yep. Charles Perrault, yeah. That is interesting. I guess they felt like they could only reasonably fit 3 names in there, and that makes me think that Karma's Curse probably is Beauty and the Beast, after all, just because if that is the thing that the Gabriel name in there is most known for. Perrault wrote Red Riding Hood, fair. I think to be fair, also there's definitely a Peter Pan curse, and they didn't reference Barry, but that's Barry, whatever. That guy who wrote Peter Pan, but he also, I think, only wrote Peter Pan, so. They threw a bunch of big names into one name, and then had that be the catch-all for... Oh, Cinderella, Puss in Boots, and Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, that's... He did only write that. Yeah, Barry. It is amusing anyway. So yeah, it's kind of weird they wouldn't include Perrault, now that you mention it. It could have been like, well, Anyway, parfait. The delicate balance of harmony between the crystals was broken. The witches in the Tenebrarum grew far stronger than they were ever meant to be. We had no choice but to fight. And then the Great War happened. The Tenebrarum bearer was eventually defeated. The Great War was ended with the help of an unexpected ally, but... Delora. Many lives were lost. The good witches suffered horribly. We still have to stay hidden in hopes of having any kind of peace. Lucette. He was 100 years before Grimm. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, nah. That I'm like, okay, I get why you Hans Christian. You could have done 4 names. Come on, it could have been like Hans Gabriel Grimm Perrault. That could have been it. Well, it's fine. They chose what they chose, and there's nothing wrong with that. Lucette. Are you trying to make me believe that there are good witches? Parfait. The Tenebrarum can poison a heart and mind into darkness and cruelty. And yeah, okay, I knew that at some point in the game that was stated, and that's what I think kind of happened to, the previous Tenebrarum bearer, let's say, to avoid too many spoilers. I think that it's possible she didn't start off as bad as she became, but, like, was understandably upset, and then as the bearer of the darkness crystal, got sort of overcome by all of the darkness emotions. Anyway, parfait. The Tenebrarum can poison a heart and mind into darkness and cruelty. The witches put themselves at risk in working with the Tenebrarum, in maintaining harmony. Some inevitably are corrupted. Delora. Many good witches were corrupted during the war. Most remain that way. Parfait. Many do not believe it, but witches can be just as kind as fairies. Lucette. And yet, it wasn't a fairy that cursed me. Delora. I've done good by cursing you, princess. You'll thank me when you've broken it. Parfait. Delora was not corrupted by the Tenebrarum. She is as good as they come. Hopefully, you'll come to see that for yourself. So yeah, there was something I was going to say, and I cannot quite recall what it was. Oh yeah, so that was also an interesting thing where, like, most witches who do go evil, like, it may not actually have been their intrinsic self to be that evil, but, like, this, you know, by powering up the Tenebrarum so much, like, it became sort of, it sounds like it became a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, oh, you think we're evil? All right, well, we're gonna power up our evil artifact that will make more of us even more evil. Or rather, will make, like, it sounds like there has always been cases of witches having gone bad and such, and so this is just a extension of that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted and I should get going with the chapter. Parfait. Hopefully you'll come to see that for yourself. Lucette. I doubt it. Delora. Apart from my own inherent goodness, Parfait and I work together because we have a common goal. Lucette. Which is? Parfait. To restore the balance between darkness and light. Lucette, thinking to herself. 3 good deeds and I get my life back. Easier said than done. Out loud. You said Cinderella, didn't you? Didn't she just go to a ball and find a prince? What does doing good have to do with that? Delora. Going to a ball, finding a prince, it's all so old-fashioned. No fun in that. Parfait. Cinderella is a girl with a pure heart. She's always willing to help others, even when they are cruel to her. Well, that's an interesting take. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Anyway, I have brought some clothes for you. I'll leave them on the table. We'll be waiting outside. There are some people I'd like you to meet. Lucette. Silence. I cannot believe this. I look down at my neatly bandaged feet. I have to admit that while sore, they are nowhere near as painful as they had been 2 days before. Girl. Here's some salve I made for you. It'll help with the pain. It's just a little flashback. Lucette. Why would she even care? I was the reason she lost her job at the palace. Oh, she probably doesn't remember me as the princess. But still, she has no reason to do such things for me. I ignore the salve for the time being and gingerly stand up, testing my feet for pain. The injury is definitely healing. I slowly walk over to the table and change into the clothes that have been left there. The dress is nowhere near as luxurious as the ones that I wear in the palace, but it is still far improved from my rags. Lucette, out loud. All of my life, I've never had to lift a finger. And now... Silence, thinking to herself. I will not let them see how much they have rattled me. I refuse to break. Just, out loud. Just watch me. I will free myself from this curse. Lucette, silence, thinking to herself. What is this place? There are several people in the room chatting amiably with each other. I noticed the girl that had left me the salve by the counter, serving drinks. But as soon as the people in the room notice me, the room falls into immediate silence. Lucette, silence. Woman A. Well, look at what we have here. The Ice Princess herself. Lucette. Huh? Thinking to herself. Huh? They know who I am? Woman B. I didn't think it was true. Man. Cursed for her cold-heartedness. Woman B. As to be expected. Lucette. Out loud. You remember who I am, and yet you still treat me like this? Woman A. Well, you aren't really a princess anymore, are you? You're one of us now, girl. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Everyone, please. You shouldn't be treating a newcomer like this. Princess, let me apologize. They mean no offense. Okay, Parfait, I don't actually think that's true. I cannot believe that. Not when the people Parfait is referring to simply smirk and shrug as I meet their gazes. Lucette, out loud. What is this place? Parfait. Welcome to the Marchen Tavern, a home for those with a fairy tale curse. Delora. You make it sound like some kind of holiday house. Parfait. Don't ruin my moment, Delora. Lucette, thinking to herself. Marchen Tavern? Parfait. The Marchen was built 3 years ago when the number of cursed in Angiel continued to rise. The goal is to gather those affected so that they might help each other break their curse. Of course, I am also here to provide help as necessary. Only the cursed and those allied with our cause can stay here. The evil and the wicked can never find this place. Lucette, thinking to herself. Most of the people here are cursed? Out loud. How come these people remember who I am? Parfait. The cursed are not affected by the conditions of someone else's curse. Your condition is simple. Everyone has forgotten you are the crown princess. But because these people here are cursed, they still remember your title. Delora. It goes without saying that fairies and witches are also not affected. Parfait. Come, princess, let me introduce you to the few boarders we have at the Marchen. Parfait beckons the serving girl over. Parfait. This is Annis. She helps out in the Marchen and does most of the cooking. Delora. I'm sure you understand why she's working here now. Lucette. Silence. Delora. I believe she deserves an apology. Annis. Miss Delora? What are you talking about? Delora. Don't you worry your sweet little head over it. You don't remember what this ice princess did to you. Annis. Huh? Lucette. I have nothing to apologize for. Thinking to herself. Clumsiness does not befit a palace maid. I only did what was necessary. Annis. Well, it's nice to meet you, princess. I'm Annis Willow. I mean, she ruined a dress, so she got fired. To be fair, she ruined a doll's dress. Like, that is a thing that happens, yeah. But I think people would have maybe found it a little more reasonable if she had ruined a person's dress. But on the other hand, Lucette's dolls are really important to her. And yeah, like, this one is a little, like, I see why everyone's like, wow, one minor mistake and she was fired. But, like, on the other hand, you're also not wrong. Like, and Lucette is not entirely wrong. Like, certainly, like, I don't know. I think maybe the idea is if it was just the one mistake, she should have been let off with a warning and then fired if it was a second time. But yeah, I agree that that one's maybe not quite as unreasonable as everyone's making it out to be. Annis. I hope we get along. Lucette. Silence. Annis. Silence. Lucette. More silence. Ennis. Delora. Really? This is how you're going to start doing good? Lucette. I don't believe I asked for your opinion. Parfait. Please, you two, no fighting. Lucette. Silence. I hold my tongue as Parfait leads me to two people whose faces are incredibly familiar. They are faces I have seen in the palace before. Parfait. This is... Lucette. Jurian Valent and Garland Belrot. Jurian. Shocked. How did you know? I actually don't remember which one is which. Lucette. Both of you were in the Order of Caldera. Jurian. Silence. Garland. That's right. Lucette, thinking to herself. They were two of Sir Alcaster's best knights. It was a big surprise when they both left a year ago. I only found out recently that it was because they acted against Sir Alcaster's orders. They were stripped of their titles and dishonorably discharged from service. Out loud. What are you two doing here? Garland. We help the fairies. Parfait. They and Ennis are exceptions, and are allowed in this tavern without the curse. Jurian and Garland lend us their strength to help protect the Marchen. Lowering volume to go to a meeting. Alright, noted. Lucette. Protect? Delora. From the witches. They'd do anything to make sure their curses remain unbroken. Lucette. And what about you? Delora. I am an exception. Also, I'm good. You keep forgetting about the good part. Parfait. Remember, not all witches are evil. Delora. Your curse is a test. Lucette. A test? Delora. Originally, the wicked were cursed so that they could learn to change. Their curses were meant to teach them a lesson. I'm hoping your curse will teach you a lesson too, Ice Princess. I really am only trying to help you. Lucette. I don't need you to show me how to change. I just want my life back. Delora. Well, to do that, you'll have to break your curse. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Try and make some friends, Princess. They might be able to help you break your curse. Delora. Oh, I'd love to hang around and watch the princess try to be friendly. Parfait. We have work to do, Delora. Delora. Fine. Try not to make any more enemies, Princess. The instant Parfait and Delora leave the room, the temperature drops several degrees. Now that I am alone, I feel the cold stares return. Disgust. Contempt. As if I am the reason they are cursed and have to take refuge in the Marchen in the first place. Lucette. Silence. Oh, yeah, this is again another thing that makes more sense having already played through one route. Like, and like, the degree to which people hate her is not deserved. Like, sure, she's, as has been said, bratty, I think is a good term for how she was raised and how she was acting, but, like, the degree to which people hate her is disproportionate and not all her fault. Lucette, thinking to herself, make friends? All I've ever had are my dolls. I've never needed friends. I will break this curse on my own. Out loud. I was told it was rude to stare. One man suddenly stands up, the anger apparent on his face. His hands clench and unclench into fists as he glares at me pointedly. Jurian and Garland place themselves in front of me, shielding me from the man. Jurian. You know the rules. What happened in the past stays in the past. Garland. And no one is allowed to harm anyone else in the Marchen. If you cannot comply, you are no longer welcome here. Man. Shh. No matter. The Ice Princess will get what's coming to her. He throws one last glare my way before sitting down again. Jurian. Break the rules and you'll get what's coming for you. That goes for everyone here. Jurian's tone is cold and firm. There is no doubt that she means what she says. Lucette, thinking to herself. So these are the great knights of the Order of Kalthira. The Marchen begins to settle down, and everyone eventually goes back to their conversations and meals. I walk towards an empty table, realizing that I am being deliberately ignored. I become immersed in my thoughts as I sit down. One thought, however, comes to me immediately. Lisette, thinking to herself, they hate me. They hate me somehow, when I've only ever left the palace twice in my life. How did this happen? The only people who treated me with any respect were Annis, Jurian, and Garland. Lisette, thinking to herself, is it because they cannot remember who I am? Maybe being in the Marchen is not such a good idea. I doubt anyone here wants to help me break my curse. Lisette, thinking to herself, they'd probably rather see me suffer under its weight. 3 good deeds? How am I supposed to complete 3 when I do not know if I can even accomplish 1? Beautiful lady. Which is also Karma. By the way, I anticipate on Karma's route, I remember there being some things in this and or maybe the second chapter that were a little not great about gender things. So I anticipate a little bit of content warning and commentary throughout this route on those factors. In the meanwhile, beautiful lady, who is obviously Karma, may I join you? I look up and stare in shock at the beautiful lady from the toy shop. Her beauty still manages to take my breath away. Lisette, thinking to herself, what is she doing here? Or what is she doing here? Out loud, you were in the toy shop. Beautiful lady, ah yes, I was there picking up some items for a friend. I am humbled you still remember me. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Miss Karma. Lisette, your name is Karma? Karma, a suitable name for someone as beautiful as me, no? Lisette, shocked. I still, I was thinking maybe it is Beauty and the Beast, but on the other hand, like, this really feels like a fairest of them all kind of curse. Waltz, Karma, your narcissism is going to scare the princess away. Lisette, oh, you are that magician boy. Waltz, boy. Karma, oh, how appropriate, boy. Waltz, call me that one more time and I'll ruin that pretty face of yours. Karma, shocked. You would hit a lady? How savage! Waltz, silence. Lisette, silence. Waltz, anyway, I'm Waltz Cresswell. I have the Neverland curse. What about you, princess? What's your fairy tale curse? And of course that immediately explains why Waltz is so twitchy about people referring to him as kid or boy or other young terms, because it is definitely the case. Like, we don't know much about his curse yet and he's the last route that we're gonna follow, so, but, like, yeah, he definitely is a grown man who is cursed to look like a kid. Anyway, Waltz, what about you, princess? What's your fairy tale curse? Lisette, silence. Does everyone share what their curse is? Waltz, we talk about it freely in the Marchen. The whole point is helping each other break our curses, after all. Hard to do if we keep our fairy tales quiet. He pauses, then narrows his eyes slightly. Well, some people keep their fairy tales a secret. Oh, oops. I clicked that too fast. He eyes Karma briefly, cocking an eyebrow. The smile never leaves Karma's face. Lisette, has anyone managed to break their curse? Waltz, I've been told that a few have. Lisette, a few? That's not very reassuring. Waltz, well, at least the curses can be broken. Lisette, I cannot particularly say that reassures me either. Karma, what ails you, darling? Is it your curse? You can talk to us about it. Tell us what it is. Lisette, silence. Cinderella. Karma, oh goodness, Cinderella. Waltz, that explains the nature of your curse, only it's been reversed, hasn't it? Karma, riches to rags. Lisette, That's one way of putting it. Waltz. Karma, you're not helping. You really are better off ignoring him, Princess. He mostly speaks nonsense. Lucette. Silence. He? Karma. Silence. Waltz. Silence. Parfait. Princess? Parfait's voice takes me by surprise. I hadn't even noticed her entering the room again. Parfait. May I speak with you? I'd like you to meet someone, though I'm sure you already know him quite well. Rod. Silence. Lucette. Rod? Rod. So you really are cursed. Parfait. I was the one that gave Sebi to Rod so that he still had some way to voice his opinions. Lucette. Sebi? Parfait. Short for Sebastian. Cute, isn't it? Sebi. It's nice to meet you, Princess! Sebi's voice changes when it greets me. The tone it uses is lower whenever it speaks for Rod. Perhaps that is what Rod's voice actually sounds like? Oh, hello! Hello, Nathan! I don't know when you left, but if you have any questions, I can fill in. So, in very brief, if I judge from roughly when you stopped talking, she was found by the people who run this tavern, which is specifically for cursed people, including this pink-haired girl who is the fairy, who is the bearer of the fairy crystal of light and happiness and such, and she runs this tavern for people who have been similarly afflicted by curses, and Lucette has been invited to stay there. So, and now she is interacting with. Anyway, the tone it uses is lower whenever it speaks for Rod. Perhaps that is what Rod's voice actually sounds like? Lucette, thinking to herself. Wait, if he remembers me, does that mean... Rod, out loud. The mermaid's curse. Lucette. What? Rod. That is my curse. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. Rod has been mute all this time because he is cursed? Thank you for recap. Yes, no problem. And like at any point, this goes for anyone watching. If you have questions, I am always happy to answer. I'm always happy to like recap any bits that anyone has missed, because this is, I recognize this is a very story driven, it's literally a visual novel, and so missing bits can make things confusing, and so I'm always happy to like pause and recap as needed. So Rod has been mute all this time because he is cursed? Out loud. Does everyone else know? Rod. Obviously. They are my family. Lucette. Even the king? Rod. He knows as well. Lucette. So I am the only one that you never told? Rod. I didn't think you'd particularly care either way. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. He is not wrong. Yet I cannot believe I didn't know. I was left out once again. Out loud. What are you doing here? Parfait. I have been trying to help Rod with his curse. That is why he comes to the Marchen from time to time. Rod. But I don't even want... Silence. Anyway, I only came here today to confirm that you were truly cursed. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. It was a big surprise when I woke up one day and you weren't in the palace. An even bigger surprise when I found out no one remembered you. Lucette, thinking to herself. It's been days since I was cursed. I wonder... Out loud. How are things in the palace? Rod. Livelier. Happier. Lucette. Happier? Rod. I've never seen my family happier than they are now. I'd say it's a good thing that you aren't a princess anymore. Lucette, shocked. Thinking to herself, I'd always thought Rod didn't really care about me regardless, but this is the truth? It doesn't matter because I'm not doing Rod's route, so this is just a preliminary choice if I were doing Rod's route where I could or could not get points. But I like answering, so this is how you truly feel, and it's not like it's going to hurt my good ending for Karma's route if I get points for Rod. And I think this is the one that gives you points. It's just the palette. No, okay. That is a part I did forget to recap. It is Everyone except for fairies, witches, and people who are also cursed. So since Rod is also cursed, he can remember her. So it is like it's not just the palace, it's most people with like, most humans, except for other humans who also have fairy tale curses. Lucette. So I have to be cursed for you to open up about how you truly feel? Rod. The only reason I didn't say anything earlier was because Emmeline didn't want me to. Emmeline is Rod's sister, and therefore Lucette's stepsister. Rod. I'm happier too now that you're gone. I don't have to pretend to like you anymore. Lucette. Silence. Rod. I'm going to return to the palace now. Lucette. Silence. I'm gone, and they're all happier. Parfait. Your very existence has been erased in the palace. They've never known you. That doesn't mean they're happy without you. Lucette, thinking to herself. Even the king. Silence. What did I expect? At least someone remembers her, yeah. Like, there are several people who remember her, just no one that she was... So far, no one that she was especially close to, so, like, her father didn't remember her, which really hit her hard, and, like, she didn't care that much about her stepfamily, and the only other... There is one person who she was relatively close to who does remember her, but he won't come up again for a while, because, he is another love interest, and he doesn't really feature, is the knight that had been in charge of protecting her. In Rod's route, he recognized her immediately, because she came to the palace in that route. But now that she's out at the March End, he's probably still at the palace, terribly confused. But yeah, so everyone at the March End remembers her, for better or worse. Like, Parfait's nice to her. Some of the cursed people are nice to her. So far, Waltz and Karma have both been reasonably nice to her, but a lot of the other cursed people don't like her. And it's not clear why all of the people of the kingdom really dislike her, because it seems really disproportionate for how infrequently she leaves the palace, but more about that will be revealed as the story goes on. Right, so, Parfait. Silence. Lucette. Why did you bring me here? The people in the March End, they... Parfait. I shouldn't have left you alone in there. I'm sorry. How mean? Yeah. Nah, it is a little, like, it will make more sense why people hate her without really knowing her, aside from rumors, but, it doesn't mean it's fair. Lucette. You knew how they felt about me. Parfait. Silence. Lucette. What have I ever done to them? Parfait. Now isn't the right time to explain. Lucette. When will it ever be the right time? Parfait. So many things have already happened to you. I need you to be patient, Lucette. Lucette. Silence. Dolora. Has the prince already left? Parfait. Yes, he has. Dolora. Princess, we'll talk about this later. For now, you must focus on breaking your curse. Lucette. Silence. Dolora. Did I miss something? Parfait. No. Dolora. Silence. Right. Lucette, thinking to herself. Maybe the fairy is right. I don't think I am ready to find out how I made so many people hate me. Dolora. Well, Parfait, I think it's time we get down to business. What should we do with her? Lucette. What are you talking about now? Dolora. You, of course. You've got nowhere to go, right? Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. She is right. I think back to the days I spent on the street and shiver. Thinking to herself. I will do anything so long as I don't have to go back there. Parfait. The princess can stay at the March End with me and the rest of my boarders. Lucette. Shocked. I'd almost forgotten what hope felt like. Parfait. But you'll have to work in exchange for a room. I celebrated too soon. Lucette. What? Parfait. Magic has its limitations, just like anything else. Money doesn't appear out of thin air, not even for a fairy. The March-End doesn't attract many customers, since only the cursed and a few others can enter. I sell my potions here and there, but I have several hungry mouths to feed, and my funds are tight. Lucette. I thought fairies lived in luxury. Parfait, are you broke? Parfait, shocked. Delora. Ouch! Even the Ice Princess can tell. Lucette. And yet you still take people in? Delora. That's always been how Parfait operates. She's good-natured to a fault. Parfait. I'm told suffocating beneath my debt will be what kills me. Lucette. Why don't you just leave? I assume you make enough to take care of yourself. Parfait. Leave someone who is in need of help? I could never. Delora. And that, princess, is how goodness works. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, which is, there is a fine line between goodness and being a doormat, and I don't think Parfait has crossed that line, but it's an important one to remember. Lucette, thinking to herself, how goodness works? Parfait. It's not as if I accept freeloaders. All my boarders help me run the March-End and do errands. And see, yeah, that is actually, to be fair, a very good example of how it's like, I will not leave a person in need behind, but I will ask for, at least for them to help out around the shop so that I can help, so that I can afford to keep putting people up. It's close, but she is making her work. Yeah. All my boarders help me run the March-End and do errands. Delora. The princess has never worked a day in her life. I doubt she'll be useful. Now, there was a person who pointed this out to me, which is, I think they're being a little unfair to Lucette here, where it is, Lucette has never done busy work before, because she's never had to. She was the crown princess. But that doesn't mean that she has never worked. Like, the amount of studying that goes into being a princess is definitely work, so it's a little unfair. So I just want to comment, want to comment in Lucette's defense here. She has done work, just not work that prepared her for this particular situation. Different type of work. Parfait. If karma can be useful, anyone can. Delora. I have yet to see karma be anything but useless. Yeah, exactly. Manual labor versus mental labor. Precisely that. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Princess, you're more than welcome to stay if you're willing to help out. Delora. It's the least you can do in exchange for a roof over your head and 3 meals a day. Oh, and shoes. Lucette. Silence. Do I even have a choice? I toss and turn in bed, unable to fall asleep. The mattress is hard and the sheets are itchy, nothing at all like the bed I had in the palace. Lucette out loud. What I would give for my old bed again, for any of the comforts of home. I miss my dolls. Garland. Lady Parfait! Lady Parfait! I sit up immediately. Lucette. Silence. What is going on? I leave my room to investigate. Some of the other March-End boarders, Waltz, Jurian, and Garland, are sitting on the settee looking anxious. Lucette. What's happening? Jurian. Sorry, did we wake you? Lucette. No, but the noises Garland was making would have woken the dead. Garland. Jurian and I found an injured man while we were doing our rounds. We brought him here. Lucette. An injured man? Wait, what were you doing outside? It's almost 1 a.m. Jurian. Nothing you need to worry about. Waltz. Lady Parfait and Annis are tending to the man now. Lucette thinking to herself. These people, will they just help anyone they find on the streets? What if this man is dangerous? Waltz. Do you think the witches got to him? Jurian. It's possible. We'll have to find out more when he wakes up. The next day, Parfait reveals that the man only suffered minor head injuries. She says that she expects him to wake soon. I look at the tray of food in my hands. Annis has asked me to bring it up to the stranger's room while she finishes the rest of her cooking. Lucette, thinking to herself, I would never have been asked to do this in the palace. Oh, yeah. Maybe she knows more languages or something useful to commoners. It's better than the dirt floor. Yeah, I mean, ultimately what ends up happening is they just kind of have her learn how to do manual labor tasks. Like, for example, this is a good start where they're just like, all right, step 1, carry this tray upstairs. Anyone can carry a tray up the stairs. Delora, goodness, what's that poor tray done to you to deserve that look? Lucette, silence. Delora, I must say that it's a little odd to see the princess doing something nice for someone. Lucette, what do you want? Delora, I have something to ask the man that was brought in last night. Seeing as you're being good enough to deliver breakfast, I thought I'd just tag along with you. Lucette, if you're going, just bring this tray up yourself. Delora, you are not in any position to delegate your duties to me, Miss Lucette. Come on, our guest must be famished. Seeing no way out, I followed Delora to the spare room the man had been put in. Man, come in. And here is, I want to say, yep, our 5th and final love interest. I will not be pursuing his route, but this is the first time he's introduced in the story. I thought the man would have been old, but to my surprise, he looks young, probably in his early 20s. He seems lost in reverie as he stares at a small notebook. Delora. Good morning. Good to see you're awake and breathing. The man looks up at her when she speaks. The instant he sees us, his eyes widen. Man. Silence. Lucette, thinking to herself, why is he staring at us like that? Man. Am I dead? Lucette. Silence. Delora. What? Man. I'm in heaven! Or maybe you two are angels that have fallen out of it? Lucette. Silence. I'm not deigning that comment with a response. Sorry, not in-game, but comments. Delora. Silence. I see. Man. What can a humble gentleman like myself do for you lovely ladies? Lucette. Silence. Man. Ah, you could come join me on this bed. It's very comfortable, and there's plenty of room for the both of you. Delora. I'll follow your lead on this one, princess. Man. Ah, princess? Ah, of course. Such a beautiful lady could only be a princess. Look at the noble way you hold up the tray. Anyway, funny thing, this is the correct answer, and it's the only answer I'm willing to choose here because he deserves it. Throw the tray at him! Lucette. Can I throw the tray at him? Delora. I'm tempted to let you. Men. Feisty as well! Oh, be still my beating heart! Oh my gosh. I'm not... This guy, his route is gonna be a trip. He's fairly classic in terms of otome archetypes. He's the standard playboy flirt type. But, like, oh man, I'm gonna want... I hope that there are more answers like, can I hit him with the tray for his route? Because I imagine early on... I'm guessing that, as is typical with playboy flirt routes, like, they usually chill out and get nicer and less flirty playboy as the route goes on. But early in his route, I imagine I am going to want to in-game, in-universe hit him a lot. How is he a love interest? Eek. Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it's pretty common to have your flirty playboy archetype, and usually what happens is that the main character wins them over, and now that character is only in love with the main character, and usually gets more serious and more, like, down to earth, and sometimes you'll find out that actually it's all an act, and they, like, have some traumatic past thing, and it's a whole thing. Like, it tends not to be my favorite archetype in otome games, but, like, I know I had been, like, so far I have faith in the writing of this game. Like, I have liked everything I've seen, and I was, like, really pleasantly surprised by, like, Rod's route. So I have hope that he will be the type that will chill out and stop making people want to hit him somewhere during his route. But yeah, that'll be the one I do after Karma, so look forward or look out for that. Anyway, Delora. Huh? Lucette. You... Parfait. Oh, he's awake. Man. Shocked. Another lovely lady has entered my chambers. I don't think my heart can handle the perfection of 3 of you at once. Parfait. Silence. Delora. I think I know how Casanova here got those head injuries. Some lady decided she'd had enough of his rubbish and wanted to punish him. Parfait. Delora, patience. He may not even be in the right state of mind right now. He did take injuries to the head, after all. The man finally stops to look just at me. He narrows his eyes and stares so hard I almost want to slap him. Lucette. What? Man. You're familiar. But no, it's impossible. Aren't you the crown princess? What are you doing here? Lucette. Shocked. Parfait. If he knows, then he's... Delora. Well, he's definitely not a witch or a fairy. Can only mean one thing if he recognizes the Ice Princess. Parfait. What is your name, good sir? Man. Shocked. I would answer any question you ask of me, madam, but... The man looks down at the notebook in his hand. I don't remember. Parfait. Silence. Delora. Amnesia? Man. I know everything about Angielle, and yet I don't know the first thing about myself. Except that I have the Rumpelstiltskin curse. Lucette. Rumpelstiltskin? Is that a fairy tale? Delora. I knew it. He's got the fairy tale curse. Man. Fairy tale curse? Parfait. Do you remember how to break it? Man. Silence. From what I remember, I need to somehow collect 3 memories and get them to appear in this journal as entries. He shows us the notebook he's been holding onto since we entered the room. My first memory is of waking up and holding this. I thought there would be information in here, but it's empty. Parfait. Another victim of the curse. You must be tired. Lucette will leave your breakfast here and will give you some time to yourself. We'll be outside if you need anything else. Lucette. Silence. Parfait. Rumpelstiltskin. Lucette. What is that fairy tale about? Delora. Silence. Delora does not do a good job of hiding her laughter. She snorts and I cross my arms, embarrassed. Lucette. Mother burned the fairy tales in the palace before I got the chance to read all of them. Delora. Fine, fine. I'll keep it short. Once upon a time, there was a girl who was said to be able to spin straw into gold. The king found her and locked her up in a tower. He said he wouldn't let her out until she turned all the straw in that room into gold. But the girl was just a regular human girl. She knew she would never be able to turn the straw into gold, and feared that she would be locked up forever. That was when an odd little man appeared before her, and offered to do the job for her if she gave him something in return. The girl gave him her necklace, and the man spent the rest of the night spinning the straw into gold. However, the girl wasn't released. The second night she was given more straw to spin, and the little man appeared once more. This time she gave him her ring. On the third night, the king ordered her to spin the straw one last time, and if she did, she would be released and made his queen. However, that night the girl had nothing left to give the little man, so they made an agreement. He would spin the straw into gold for her, so long as she gave him her first child. I'm realizing I should probably stop, even if I'm shifting. If I'm this far away, I should maybe be considerate of the fact that the condenser mic might not pick my voice up quite as well from there. Anyway, Parfait. I personally never understood why the girl would want to marry the king in the first place. Delora. Hush, I'm trying to tell a story here. Parfait. Silence. I mean, I don't disagree with Parfait. Like, sure, guy who locked me up for 3 nights in a row. I guess I'll marry you. Delora. Years passed, and the queen finally gave birth to her first child. That night, the odd little man returned and demanded his due, but the queen didn't want to give up her child. The man then said that he wouldn't take the child if the queen was able to guess his name in 3 days. The man's name was Rumpelstiltskin. Lucette. Did she guess it? Delora. Oh yeah, the night before her time was officially up, the queen was drawn to the forest by the sound of a little voice. She saw the little man celebrating his upcoming victory, singing about how nobody had or ever would guess his real name, which was Rumpelstiltskin. Lucette. He does not sound particularly smart. Delora. So agrees the general populace. Sometimes I wonder how Hans was able to come up with such tall tales. Well, the Marchen is opening soon. I expect another busy day. Delora. Especially busy for you, Lucette. You need to start coming up with good deeds. Lucette. Silence. The amnesic Casanova was allowed to stay at the Marchen with the other boarders. Because he still seemed capable, Parfait set him to work as one of the Marchen's servers. Annis's protests that he remain in bed fell on deaf ears. Parfait couldn't very well throw him out, not well knowing he had nowhere to go. Lucette thinking to herself, I would be incapable of showing him such kindness given all the nonsense he spouts at us. Alright, I don't think Lucette's entirely in the wrong there. The people that frequent the Marchen began to steadily ignore me altogether, like I do not exist. Lucette thinking to herself, it is better than the stares and the hateful looks. Delora. Rumpel, you aren't here to flirt. Rumpel. But this lovely lady is unattended. Lady. Sir Rumpel, please, you're making me blush. Lucette, thinking to herself. Because the man couldn't remember his name, he fashioned one from his own curse. Rumpel. I think it suits him. Delora. I will never understand Parfait. This amorous waste of space is about as useful as karma. Karma. I've returned! Delora. Speak of the devil. Karma. Did you miss me? Karma had left abruptly yesterday, saying that she had something very important to take care of. Waltz trails in after her now, carrying several boxes in his arms. Waltz. Why am I carrying these? Karma. Because you made me run that errand for you at the toy shop the other day. And because gentlemen carry things for ladies. Waltz. I'm going to drop them now. Karma. Those boxes contain very important contents. Annis. Welcome home, Miss Karma. Nice to see you've survived the trip, Waltz. Waltz. Thank you, Annis. Rumpel. Silence. Karma. So this is our new housemate. We've not had the opportunity to meet. I am... Karma. Shocked. Okay, there are things okay, so this image is amazing, not gonna lie. Karma's completely unimpressed face is great, but there are a couple of things coming up that I really don't love how the writing handled in terms of gender stuff. I'll complain about it when it happens. We are all surprised when Rumpel suddenly grabs out to grab Karma's hand. Rumpel. My life before this moment has been a depressing monochrome. Now that you have entered my bleak existence, I see everything in beautiful, blazing color. And nothing shines more brightly, more vividly than you. Karma. Silence. Rumpel. I am Rumpel, my sweet. Let us talk of marriage. Karma. Silence. I stare at Karma, waiting for her to flirt back. At the very least, I expect her to wave Rumple away for being a fool. But she remains eerily silent. Rumple. Answer, my angel! I beg of you! Again, a totally appropriate face. Like, everything... Okay, I'm gonna complain about it in advance after all. Everything Karma does here is totally within keeping of what any pretty girl being really annoyed by a guy obnoxiously hitting on them would be entitled to do. The problem is that at some point it is said that Karma hates it when men flirt with him, and I'm just like, there's just some low-key homophobia vibes to that. I don't remember the exact things, that's why I wasn't going to complain about it until it happens, because I don't remember the exact text, but I'm going to... It's frustrating to me. So anyway, we're going to get to that point, then I will complain about it. Anyway, in the meanwhile, though, it was very enjoyable, like, up through this part, to see Karma be like, excuse you, to Rumple. Karma. Keep? Rumple. Say the word and it is done. Karma. Your filthy hands off of me! Rumple. Ow! Waltz. Not again. Karma. I would never be interested in the likes of you. Man. Go on, lad, give him a good beating, like the one you gave to me. Rumple. My queen, there is no need for violence. Karma. What did you call me? Annis. Please calm down, Rumple is still recovering. Lucette. What is going on? Waltz. Karma is a man. Doesn't take kindly to being flirted with. That was it. That was it. Okay. So, Karma doesn't take kindly to being flirted with would have been fine. And actually, I misremembered. And to give credit to the game, I thought I remembered it as Karma doesn't take kindly to being flirted with by men, which is also kind of like annoying in a gay panic way, but like would honestly in some ways have been less bad than the implication that of course as a man Karma would not want to be flirted with. Like, I bet Karma would be just fine with I mean actually I don't know that. Like, would Karma be fine if ladies were to hit on him? Because if that is the case, then the fact that he is actually a man has nothing to do with this. And that was my annoyance. Okay, I'm glad to see that my annoyance is actually not as pronounced as I remember. I remembered it as being slightly worse than it was. There's still a bad implication there, and there's a couple of things that are a little like... So this was everything about that. This was the scene that made me go, oh, I hope that this doesn't continue to come out in Karma's route, because there's a couple of problematic gender and heteronormativity assumptions that I am not excited about. But I also think I remember being like, at first I wasn't 100% certain that Karma was like actually just cursed to be female-bodied during the day, and so, or I guess AFAB-bodied, but so I think I like had gotten it built up for myself that it might be something cool, and then I was sort of disappointed that it was less queer than I had kind of hoped it would be. Alright, sorry, I will mini rant over. This was not as bad as I remembered, but still not great. Karma is a man, doesn't take kindly to being flirted with. Or proposed to. Lucette, silence. She is a man? Rumple. But your voice, your face, your chest. Rumple. Ow! Delora. That's what you're focusing on? Pervert. Rumple. I worship all aspects of the female form, but my particular favorite has always been... And rightfully he gets smacked again. Rumple. Ow! Delora. Do yourself a favor and shut up! Lucette thinking to herself. I never would have known, but why would he do this? I also don't love the implications of why would he do this? Why would he do what? Anyway. Lucette. Silence. Karma. Don't look at me like that. I have my reasons. Lucette. Is it because of your curse? Karma. Silence. Yes. Rumple. I am undone. My heart is in pieces. Delora. You knew him for 10 minutes. Rumple. For those that can hear the music of their heart, like I, it takes only a look to fall madly, irretrievably in love. I must leave. My heart will need time to heal. Oh my goodness, Rumple is ridiculous. Waltz. Silence. Waltz. The Marchand attracts all sorts, doesn't it? Delora. That one is entirely Parfait's fault. Alright. Nothing to see here. Back to work. Lucette. Silence. I am still in shock from what I learned earlier. Lucette, thinking to herself. Karma, a man. It is not fair he is so beautiful as a woman. Why is it not fair? Men are allowed to be pretty too. Yeah, this is going to be a thing that I complain about. If the female population of Angiel knew the truth, Karma would be hunted down for making the rest of us pale in comparison. But why? Why is it any different than if he were AFAB and more pretty than all of the other girls? Ah, gender essentialism. Boo. Ennis, being good, I suppose, prepared a special lunch to welcome the newest Marchand boarders. We have all been invited to the private dining room. Gosh, chapter 1 is so long. I feel like I'm getting towards the end, but like... Chapter 1 is so long! Rod. Excuse me, is Lady Parfait here? Parfait. Prince Rod, perfect timing. Please join us for lunch. Rod. I only came to talk to you, Lady Parfait. Parfait. But I'm hungry, and I've no wish to make you wait while I eat. Come join us. Annis. Please, Your Highness, I've made too much, as usual. You must help us finish. Rod. Silence. Very well. Rumple. A cursed princess and a cursed prince! What an eccentric collection of friends you have, Lady Parfait. Parfait. I wouldn't say they were eccentric, necessarily. Delora. You're the most eccentric one here, Rumple. Rumple. Really now? I sit silently in my chair. I am uncomfortable around so many people. Even when Mother was alive, I had all my meals alone, since my parents were always too busy to sit down for meals with me. The meals with Ophelia and her children were also always awkward and silent. Somehow, the atmosphere here is lively and friendly, even though I barely know anyone here. Lucette. Silence. Do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk by again? Wow. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a pickup line that Rumple would use. Annis. Is something wrong? Lucette. Excuse me? Annis. You've barely touched your food. Don't you like it? Delora said this was one of your favorites. Lucette. Silence. I'm just not used to eating with company. That's all. Garland. They say that sharing a meal brings the family closer together. Lucette. Silence. Jurian. Garland. Garland. Shocked. Garland. I apologize. Lucette, thinking to herself. Closer together, huh? Delora. So, have you made any progress on how to do those good deeds, princess? Lucette, thinking to herself. There is no way I am admitting that I do not even know how to complete one. Delora. Oh, I forgot. You're not so good on the doing good front. Lucette. You are not very helpful. Parfait. Why don't you ask someone to teach you how to do good? Lucette. What? Delora. Well, that's not something you hear every day. Lucette. As in, take some kind of lessons? Parfait. If you're having so much trouble on your own, you should ask someone to give you advice, or teach you. It's as simple as that. Karma. What is this I hear? The princess needs advice? Well then, she is in luck. I happen to give the most excellent advice, and believe me when I say I can teach almost anything. Wow, Karma. Not full of self at all. Still better than Rumple. Lucette, silence. Rumple. The princess is indeed lucky, as I am available for teaching duties. No doubt I'd be the better choice, as I don't go around deceiving the world. Okay, that one makes me mad too, because although in Karma's case, like, he actually is a man who I'm pretty sure is only cursed with the female appearance during the day and is not otherwise invested in being female, but, like, that comes really close to a really bad trope for, like, trans women being, like, the concept that trans women are deceiving people is really shitty and really incorrect, and yeah. Alright, so this is the sort of shit that I hope that there is not too much more of in Karma's route. But I fear there may well be. Rumple. Right. Karma. Excuse me? Okay, they can hate each other, that's fine, but if the language were a little less, queerphobic, that'd be grand. Waltz. From one-sided flirting to bitter enemies, and all in the span of a few hours. Rumple. The man broke my heart! Waltz. Silence. Anyway, I'd also be happy to help you in any way I can, Princess. Parfait. And I'm sure your stepbrother would be happy to help as well. Rod. Silence. Ennis. I don't think I would make the best teacher for this sort of thing. Jurian. I only teach others how to fight. Garland. Never mind the fact that Jurian herself still struggles to be good. Jurian. What? Delora. You're lucky, aren't you? So many people are willing to help you. Lucette. Why? Delora. Lucette. Why are you all willing to help me? Waltz. That's what we do at the Marchen. We help each other. Delora. Lesson number 1. Doing good means helping whenever one can. Lucette. Silence. Waltz. Just let any of us know if you want our help. Lucette. Thinking to herself. Trust no one but yourself. You need not care for anyone but yourself. This is what Mother and the last few years have taught me. Out loud. I have always been alone, and it is easier that way. And yet, thinking to herself, these strangers, these people that I've only known for a few days, are so willing to help me when they will gain nothing in return. And this is a great example of the sort of stuff that it's important for Lucette to learn. Like, anytime, well, she's the crown princess, anytime anyone's being nice to her, it's very easy for her to assume that they just want something. But put in this situation where people will literally mostly be offering to help her out of the goodness of her heart, of their hearts, it makes her start to, like, this is just a vital thing for her to be able to understand that there are people who are fundamentally good and kind, and goodness and kindness are not ploys to use people, like her mother taught her. Thinking to herself, is this the goodness I was meant to see, Father? And, like, also, yes, that was the goodness that her father hoped she would see in town, but should have realized that was not going to happen for her. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. How can I even begin to trust and care for others when I have forgotten how to do so? I am slowly beginning to understand what I must do. Okay, finally. Oh, I mean, I guess that was only 2 hours. That is a normal amount of time for me to be streaming. Ugh, but yeah, alright, so that was chapter 1. Alright, so yeah, I think it's at the end of chapter 2. So chapter 2 is going to be a little bit more of, like, Marchen shenanigans, and then she's going to start deciding who she wants to ask for help from. And naturally, the correct answer is to choose the love interest whose route you are planning to pick. So next time, I think I will be able to say Karma's route and actually be able to justify it, because I'll get to actually pick it. Maybe. Unless that actually doesn't happen until I start chapter 3. we'll find out. We'll find out. Anyway, so that was chapter 1. So we're getting into the story. We've met all of the potential love interests. And let's see, I was gonna save here. And yeah, we don't really start to get into chapter 2. Like, so chapter 1 only had a couple of choices. Chapter 2 is gonna have more. And then we'll get into a proper route. So, yeah, so thank you so much to everyone who watched this any part of this video, and also thank you so much to like those of you who were able to stick around to the end. I totally understand when people can't, and I'm not like, you know, this is not against anyone who couldn't, because that's like totally understandable. But I appreciate the people who are still here and who were able to. And I appreciate everyone who watches me. I appreciate you all so much. Oh, hello. I have just finished chapter 1, and it has continued to be really interesting to like go through. Oh, thanks for playing a great game. Thank you for watching me. I appreciate it. It's been really cool because I've already gone through. Oh yeah, no worries. You can always. I've been falling behind on uploading stuff on YouTube, but I will try to catch up on that this week. And also you can always just go back and watch the VOD once I'm finished here. But yeah, no worries about being late. Thank you for tuning in at all. Like, I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. So it's been fun to go through chapter, like, you know, just like with the prologue, it was a lot of fun to go through chapter 1, having more context for characters and stuff. And I imagine, like, and there were people I'd practically forgotten Jurian and Garland existed, and so I look for, I'm sure eventually they will become much bigger characters in a different route. So there's just a lot of stuff I'm very excited about, and, like, I love this game, and, like, I like my doing it a chapter at a time method because it means I will be able to continue streaming this game for so long. Like, on the one hand, I'm like, oh man, I won't be finished until I think October. But on the other hand, I'm so excited because that means I'll have this to look forward to until at least then. So it's the end of the stream. Yeah, it is. Thank you. Yeah, no, sorry. But like I said, the VOD will be up, but yeah, so I usually start Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, so 6 p.m. is like right about the end, so guess I'll have to see on YouTube again. Yeah, well, I mean, thank you for watching out on YouTube. It means a lot to me. I will make a point of getting back on top of my YouTube uploads, so, and, you know, it was nice to see you, even just briefly popping in was appreciated. Okay, Jurian and Garland are an important part of Karma's route. Okay, cool. So I'll get to learn more about them soon. So, because yeah, I'm excited. I'm just so excited about this game in general, and so it's like, ooh, new route. I'm excited. You know, new chapter. I'm excited. New everything. I'm excited. So I'm just very excited about this game. So yeah, thank you again, everyone who is watching, and everyone who watches this later. I appreciate you so much. My next stream is going to be this Wednesday evening. I'm going to 8:30. I'm going to be playing Don't Starve Together, and then I'll probably do a stream, Reciteer stream over the weekend, and then of course next Monday 4 p.m. will be chapter 2 of this. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and I hope to see some folks around and future streams, and look forward to at least seeing some folks next week for this stream. So